Hey YouTube, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be looking at how to implement the SplashScreen API in Android. All right, so to get started, let's go ahead, change this from Android view to project view. It's my personal preference, but you can go ahead and do as you please. And yeah, by the way, the code to everything that is done in this example is linked in the description, so you guys can go check it out on GitHub. All right, so let's get started. We're going to go into build Gradle, and we're going to scroll down all the way to our implementations. And first, we're going to implement the SplashScreen API. So I already have this copied, but if you don't, you can just find it on developer.google.com or developer.android.com. And once you've done syncing, you're going to go into your main activity under onCreate. We're just going to go ahead and call a method called install SplashScreen. This method should be available irrespective if you're doing compose or if you're writing code in the traditional view system. Anyway, so you have access to this method saying install SplashScreen, and we want to access another method inside that, which is set keep on screen condition. This method is basically used notify the system as to how long the splash screen should be visible. Now, this uses a lambda scope, so I can just go ahead and provide it a value. So for now, as an example, I'm just going to say true, and we're going to run this. So when you run this, what it's going to do is it's going to stop the splash screen and just keep it on. It's never going to take away the splash screen. So we need this to sort of be like a condition that we can change it whenever we want to. Now, in this example, I'm not going to do anything too fancy. We're just going to simply come here and fetch our value from our view model, wait for about a few seconds, and then turn the splash screen off, all right? Assuming that's where you'd put in your logic, all right? So now we don't have a main view model, so let me just go ahead and create one. I'm just going to go ahead and create a main view model for us. And it's going to extend view model. And in the init method, before that, we need to declare the variable. So let's go ahead and declare is SplashScreen visible. And it's going to be a mutable variable because we need to listen to it whenever the value changes. So we're just going to do mutable state off, and we're going to set it off as false. We're going to initialize it as false, and then later on change this value to true so that get rid of the splash screen. All right, so in our init method, what we're going to do is we're going to start a new coroutine scope, and we're going to say dispatchers.io and launch. All right, so in this coroutine scope, what we're going to do is we're going to say a delay of 2000 milliseconds, and then we're going to say is splash screen visible equals to false. Oh, sorry. You need to initialize it with true because we want the splash screen to be visible initially. And then after 2 seconds, we're going to say to remove the splash screen. All right, let's go back into our main activity. And over here, we're going to declare a variable. It's going to be simple, private var view model by view models. And I'm just going to say main view model. So we have our view model instance here. So I'm just going to go ahead and change this from true to view model dot is splash screen visible. So as long as this variable is true, the splash screen is going to be visible. And once it becomes false, the splash screen is supposed to disappear. And you're free to do whatever code you want here, or you could just put a delay. So it waits for 2 seconds, and then you see you have the main app visible or the splash screen invisible after 2 seconds. Now you see on top, it has changed the theme of our app. We don't want that to happen. We want to have our own theme. So to do that, we're going to go into our theme.xml file. And you see that we already have our default theme, but this theme is getting overwritten by the splash screen theme, right? Like I'm using no action bar, but there is an action bar. So how do we fix this? All right, so to fix this, we're going to create a new style here, and we're going to call this new style as theme.app.starting. This is what we're going to call our theme, and the parent theme is going to be theme.splashScreen. Now, there is a problem here because our app is also called SplashScreen, and hence you see the theme as SplashScreen. We're going to change this. We're going to rename this, and we're going to call this app theme so that we have a separation, because we don't want to use this theme over here. Instead, we want to use the SplashScreen theme that comes from within the Android system or the library that we have imported. All right. So next, we're going to add an item in this, and we're going to say window SplashScreen. And you see these properties that come up here. These are the properties that you can mess around with whenever dealing with the SplashScreen API. All right. So for now, we're just going to say splash screen background, and we can probably set a background for our splash screen. So I could just say color black, and our splash screen will now become black in color. And we're going to set up another property, which is going to be post splash screen theme. And we're going to say add theme and app theme. So what this basically does is it's going to say that, hey, after the splash screen has done its thing and the main app comes back, change my theme from this to this. Now we're going to make that change over here as well. We're going to say theme, and we're going to say app theme here. Oops, sorry, starting here, which is our app's splash screen theme. And we're going to remove this from here. It's not really needed, so we'll remove that from here. All right, so when I run this, now what happens is you see that nice black color coming up. And now we have our own original theme back. All right, so that works. What about the logo? How do I change that? So to do that, we're going to do item, another property, and we're going to call this Windows splash screen animated icon. Now, I know it says animated icons and it can be ABDs, but you could also use any other static image that you want. So we're going to quickly create one. We're not going to use the default image that is here, right? And the background that is here. These are our vectors. We could reuse them and build it, but let's say we don't want to do that and we want to have a different image for our splash screen. So we're going to go ahead and create a new vector asset, and we're going to select the default SVGs, one of these default SVGs from here. But you could also load an SVG from your local system if you want to. For the example, I'm just going to go ahead and let's say we change the logo to add reactions. I don't know. And we click OK. We have a nice little name. Let's call this IC splash logo. Click finish, and there we have it. Now, if I go here and say IC splash logo, I can pull that in, but now because our background is set to black, the logo is also black, you wouldn't be able to see anything. So hence I'm removing the background and it defaults to white. So when I run this, you see it got cut off, but this is not my SVG. If I go into my SVG, what happened to this plus? Why was that cut off? We don't know yet, right? So we're going to fix this up. I'm just going to quickly format my code here. What we're going to do is around this path, what we are going to do is we're going to create a group. Now we're going to change a few properties in this group, which will basically add paddings on all sides. All right, we're going to do scale Y, and we're going to do 0.5%, and we're going to do scale X, and again, 0.5%. So that scales down our image. Now, if we get to run this, half of our image is going to get cut off because it's on the top corner here. We want it to be in dead center. So what we're going to do is add two more properties, which is translate X, and we're going to put 6 here. So that brings it in the center of the screen. And then we're going to say translate Y, and we're going to put 6 again. Now, how did I come up to this number 6? It's very simple. What I did is I took the height and the width from here, which is 24 by 24, and divided it based on the center of the screen. And that's how I come to this. All right, let's run this again. And you see, the image shows up perfectly. Waits for 2 seconds, and there we have our app ready to go. Well, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys liked it. Feel free to drop a comment, like, subscribe. Cool. Peace.